I was with Robert Thurman. We were traveling around India, and we were in a place called Hemis, which is a monastery up in the Himalayas. It's very remote. And Robert Thurman, Uma's dad, he's a very famous Buddhist scholar. And so they would invite him and his group to come and visit, and then we'd do ceremonies and stuff like that. And I'm sitting next to him up in the courtyard of Hemis Monastery, and the abbot was sitting next to me, and he leaned over to me and he said, "You know, Jesus studied here." And I looked at him and said, "Which Jesus?" Like I didn't know what he's talking about. And I wish I had, because here I was, I haven't been back. But that is the monastery where there was a guy named Nicholas Notovich, and he's very controversial. If you look him up, they'll say he was a fraud or blah, blah, blah. But he didn't write this book that is so famous in sort of the life of Isa, the life of Saint Isa, because Isa is the name they call Jesus in the Middle East. In the Quran, he's known as Isa, as, a derivative of Isaiah. But anyway, and so, this book was not written by Notovich. It was translated by his Sherpa, who spoke the language. And so the Sherpa wrote out all the pages. And so this book, which it's only like 30 or 40 pages, I reproduce it in my book. But it's this story of an alternate version of Jesus's life, but all the way up until the crucifixion. And so, but what's fascinating about it is the traveling to and from Jerusalem from the age of 15 to age of 30. It goes back and forth, and he meets all these different religious leaders. And what makes the book so fascinating is that some of the religious sects that they talk about no longer exist. So they did exist when whoever was writing this book. And so historically, you can find that they did exist. The white priests of Persia, for example, they're no longer a sect that people are aware of, but somebody, was writing that down. There's also some quite fascinating alternate things that are in there, but go ahead, I'm sorry. So I think you're accurate, because he literally studied Buddhism, and I think he also knew those esoteric yoga practices.
Let's talk about death, baby. Let's talk about you and me. We're not the one and only. It's going to happen to everybody. Yeah, baby. Say it isn't so, baby. It's the truth, don't you know, baby?